All right, at-home hair dye kits are something many people use. Have you tried it?
I have, absolutely.
Okay.
To cover up my roots.
Well, the question is, what is really in those bottles, Tess?
Good question. A new Consumer Reports investigation reveals some popular brands contain chemicals that have been linked to potential health risks. So on your site, Susan Campbell is joining us with the new details on this. I think more people probably do use it in between visits to the salon, right?
Absolutely. And as a lot of us are looking to save a couple bucks here and there, it is a lot cheaper than going to the salon. So we know these are chemicals, so maybe not surprising that there are potential risks. So here's the best way to use them.
Julissa Nunez prefers the convenience of dyeing her own hair at home, not only to save money, but also to avoid the long hours at the hair salon.
Going to a salon would take me 4 or 5 hours versus me doing it at home, where it'll take me like 2 hours.
Store-bought hair dyes have been widely used for decades, and people have reported reactions such as skin irritation, itching, or burning. Consumer Reports tested 21 permanent, semi-permanent, and 2 hair chalks from major brands at an independent lab, screening the samples for volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, phthalates, and heavy metals. The results? Every product CR tested contained contaminants, but some had fewer toxins than others. With repeated use over time, some of these chemicals are linked to an increased risk of cancer, hormone disruption, or other health concerns.
Consumers deserve to actually know what's in the product, not just what the label actually lists. The research from our studies has reinforced that chronic, repeated exposure of hair dyes is actually a real concern.
Hair dye chemicals can be absorbed through the scalp, inhaled during the application, or they can enter the body through irritated skin.
Products that are labeled as clean, natural, organic, or ammonia-free are not necessarily safer alternatives with respect to heavy metals, VOCs, and phthalates.
The Personal Care Products Council, an industry group, says that hair dyes are extensively tested and deemed safe, supported by decades of rigorous scientific research and consumer safety evaluations. If you use hair dyes, Consumer Reports suggest wearing gloves and using the products in well-ventilated areas. Perform a 48-hour patch test on a small area of skin prior to applying dye over the entire scalp. It's also important to never apply hair dye to irritated or broken skin. And if you have chemically straightened hair, experts recommend waiting at least a few weeks after using relaxers before using hair dye of any kind.
If you color your hair, Consumer Reports says consider using temporary or semi-permanent dyes. They may lower your exposure to some of the harsher chemicals that are found in permanent options. And check whether it has an expiration date. This is something a lot of people may not know. Hair dyes actually have expiration dates, and if you use them past their shelf life, they could potentially cause a little bit more damage. So look for the expiration date.
All right, good to know. Good to know. Thank you for answering those questions.